On September 22nd, 2025, Compass, the tech-driven brokerage that set out to reinvent real estate from the agent up, announced it will acquire Anywhere Real Estate. That company, formerly known as Realogy, will be acquired in an all-stock transaction valued at approximately $1.6 billion. The combined value, including debt, will approach $10 billion. That's a big number, and it matters to you. But first, a story. Years ago, I was working with American Airlines to form a strategic alliance with the Latin American carriers Taka and Aviateca. On paper, it made sense. Routes would be aligned, costs could be shared, and customers could move across networks with less friction. But regulators didn't see it that way. They saw a wall going up around the consumer. They worried that fewer carriers meant fewer choices, and fewer choices meant higher fares. It didn't matter how good the logos looked together on a press release. It didn't matter that the TACA acronym, which originally stood for Transportes Aéreos Centroamericanos, would now be the airline of Central America. What mattered was market control. And while those airlines did not intend to squeeze the customer, they would control more of the map than regulators were comfortable with. Now, flash forward to 2024. Spirit Airlines, which held less than 1% of the domestic market, tried to merge with JetBlue. That deal was blocked because regulators decided that even a small shift in control could distort competition. Compass launched in 2012. Since their founding, they've built enough strength, brand authority, and investor confidence to absorb the largest residential real estate company in the country. 13 years is an astoundingly short runway to reach this altitude. But despite their entrepreneurial superhero posturing, the risks here are real. Merging two large organizations demands an appetite for complexity. Culture, process, and leadership must all realign. And if it goes sideways, the bigger the bet, the bigger the bruise. So what are the real assets in Anywhere's house? Anywhere Real Estate is not a single company. It's a federation of legacy brands and service platforms, each with its own position, reputation, and market reach. These include Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, Corcoran, ERA Real Estate, and Sotheby's International Realty. These are not retail storefronts. These are systems of brokers, agents, franchisees, and support infrastructure. Compass will be buying a living, breathing ecosystem of relationships, contracts, and reputational capital. But beyond the brokerage brands, Compass will also acquire Anywhere Advisors, which manages company-owned brokerages, Anywhere Integrated Services, which delivers title and settlement support, and Cardis, a corporate relocation business with long-standing ties in global mobility. Each of these assets carries a different value. Some generate revenue, some deliver leverage. Others will help shore up Compass's operations. This moment resembles another from business history. When General Motors reevaluated its brand portfolio, it chose to keep Chevrolet, Cadillac, and GMC. It retired Oldsmobile and Buick because those names no longer held the same meaning they once did. Compass will need to make similar decisions. Coldwell Banker and Century 21 have built serious awareness. Sotheby's brings luxury cachet that no internal brand can replicate. These names will likely remain in play, but other brands may not. When portfolios overlap, the weaker names usually step aside. Brands without clear positioning, market loyalty, or financial upside often find themselves phased out. I'm talking to you, Buick, Pontiac, and Saturn. Compass will likely preserve the platforms that drive value and eliminate the redundancies that slow it down. The JetBlue Spirit decision set a precedent. Market share alone does not determine the threat. Intent and access matter too. The Compass Anywhere deal, if approved, will result in a company controlling close to 18% of the U.S. residential real estate market. And this raises questions. The deal's size and scope deserve attention. So does its impact on local competition, agent mobility, and customer access. And when a small airline merger is blocked, but a massive real estate consolidation is allowed to proceed, the logic becomes even harder to follow. For agents, the deal will bring change. Some will gain access to better technology, wider networks, and more support. But others may feel squeezed by centralized decision-making or brand realignment. For consumers, the effects remain uncertain. A more efficient system may create smoother transactions, but when fewer players hold more cards, costs and control often follow suit. For the industry, this is a heads up. Consolidation has entered its next phase. Compass is no longer a disruptor. It is now a consolidator. The industry will either respond with smarter specialization or shrink in Compass's rear view mirror. 13-year-old Compass has decided to stop knocking and start walking through the front door. And this is not a speculative grab. It's a calculated move to own more of the real estate conversation from search to sale. Some names will survive. Others will fade. The structure will shift and the ground will move. But one thing is clear. This merger is not built on nostalgia. It's a blueprint for control. If you're planning a conference, a summit, or a leadership event in 2026, I speak about how brands grow, how markets shift, and how smart organizations can stay ahead by understanding what people really care about. If you're looking for a keynote that delivers clarity, energy, and lasting impact, I'd love to talk to you. Your audience will leave with stories they remember and strategies they can use. Dates are filling quickly, so please reach out to reserve your spot.